Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name's Brian. Today's project is our 1993 VW Cabriolet is back again. We've done a bunch of work on this car in earlier videos. It's kind of been out of the loop for daily use, but now that we have another driver in the family, we need to get this one set up as a backup car. I think the last thing I did was install new front struts. With the old struts, it was really bouncy. And that's how it should act. So once we completed the front struts, then we realized how bad the rears were. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but it's pretty bouncy. Me being the cheapskate that I am, I searched around for cheap struts, and I could find everything I found was about $50 a piece. But I was able to find these on eBay that someone had purchased and never used and sold the car, and they were brand new in the box. I installed KYBs on the front, so I think these will be fine for the rear. Let's get started. This procedure would be about the same for this being a Mark I car, Rabbits, Cabriolets, Scirocco's. The Mark II cars is very similar to this, but on this particular car, it's all coming back to me now. We pull this knob right here. That allows us to come to the rear seat, pull this latch. If you don't pull that knob first, this latch can't release. And right here is where we access the top of the strut bolts. Right there. There's no way, apparently, either to get a socket on here, but at least it's turning, and we're not having to hold the top of the rod yet anyway, and it looks like factory paint on there. A ratcheting wrench would be ideal for this situation, but I don't have any. At least I don't have any metric ones. I do have this wrench, if you can see that. I call it the Bob Vila wrench because Sears marketed these, I don't know, in the 90s. I don't think they quite took off, but it has that little hook so it'll act like a ratcheting wrench. It's good for tight situations where you can only get a quarter turn on stuff. Okay, now that should be free from in here. Now we need to go under the car. Here's where the bottom of the strut attaches, and there's just a bolt going through it. I've only removed the nut from this side on the top, because if you take both top nuts off, there's nothing to keep this axle beam from falling down. You can screw up your brake lines. So let's see if this will come loose. Oh, Nelly! Oh, you're gonna need a bigger boat. see how seized this bolt is in here. Oh, yeah, great. I found this hammer laying in the middle of Interstate 40 this morning. Looked like a hammer, so I got off and went back around and stopped, and sure enough, it's some Mac tools too. I can imagine somebody running over this and going through your windshield, so let's try it here. Well, that's not a good sign. Great. So it turns a little bit, but it's not moving out. So I gave it a little shot of penetrating oil. I was hoping maybe this would give us a little more leverage if it's going to stay on that bolt head. Probably not. Yeah, that's correct. So let's try this some more. So what it feels like is the sleeve inside this rubber bushing is seized to the bolt. So that sucks, because I don't really see an option to get that out of there. It's going to have to either break loose. What's going to probably happen is we'll just start spinning that whole rubber piece. Which acts like what we're doing. And this is probably just going to make it bounce. Yeah. Let me think about this for a minute. So what I'm talking about is the bolt. This is the new strut, obviously. The bolt is seized to this metal sleeve here. This part between is rubber, and they're all bonded together. But that bolt has seized itself to that, so that's why it's not coming out. Can't really heat it because we'll just have a big rubber fire. So the only thing I've come up with, since this all goes away anyway, is come in here with a cutoff wheel and cut through this outer shell, bend it out of the way, or cut both sides, or bend enough of it out of the way. We can get the strut out, and then we'll just be left with the rubber bushing and the bolt inside, and then we can possibly grind it off, or go in there with a torch and cut it off, or even a Sawzall and cut the bolt and get it out of there. Hold your ears, folks. Alright, so now I need to cut over there, it looks like. That's gonna suck. Try to throw the sparks away from me. Let's see if it'll come out of there. Come on. So there we go. That should not have been that difficult. Now, I get to tackle how to get that out of there. I think the cutting disc will fit up inside there without cutting the mount. I should be able to cut it on both sides and get it to come out of there. There's part of it. So there, that's what I was talking about. That's seized inside that sleeve. Now you need to go find a bolt or go buy a new bolt. Because I can't really, I guess I could support this side with a jack and we could tackle the other side to see if I'm going to need a bolt for that side too. I think I'll do that. Ended up cutting the other side off too. There shouldn't be a lot of tension on the spring. I think we can actually change these without a spring compressor, but in case my memory's failing me, we'll use my spring compressors. This is a 17mm nut. Sometimes you have to reuse the dust boot. Looks like the new one has them. Pretty sure we're gonna need that washer though. Spring seat should just drop on here. Helps if you put it on the right direction. There. Okay, so the strut's in there. Bump stop goes on, followed by the dust boot. And it actually came with a new spacer. Then the upper spring seat and the top little donut deal. Of course, just needs to compress just a little more. That should be good. Make sure your spring's kind of down in the little pocket where it's supposed to be, which is close enough. Now we can just take all this apart. Good comparisons, take your old one and see how much damping it has. See, it didn't even rebound, it just went straight down and stayed. So, definitely time. This one I just cut off up through in place so I didn't have to cut the end off, saved a step. Went and purchased new M10 bolts. I think they're 75 millimeters long. Might be a little bit long, but everything shorter was too short. That'll work. All right, let's give it a bounce test. Oh yeah, that's way better. So that job of putting those struts in, that hour-long job, turned into about 2.5, having to cut it off, cut the bolts off, and go get bolts, etc. So they have a disposal procedure, I think, in here, so I guess we should properly dispose of these. We did this for the front strut video. Basically, you drill a hole on either side of the piston, I guess, in the shock, and then just dump the oil out, and then you can throw it in the trash. See what it calls for. I'm assuming. Oh, so a 5mm drill bit. We'll see what's close to that. Grand scheme of things, it probably doesn't really matter what size it is, so we'll go with the 3/16. So I guess we do that for a while. So anyway, I'll let those struts bleed out a little bit before I throw them in the trash. Anyway, that's how you put struts on a A1 Cabriolet, a Mark 1, whatever you want to call it. A Scirocco would be the same, pretty much, a Rabbit. And really the A2 cars were very similar. Typically you don't have to go to such aggressive measures with the grinder and cut bolts off, but those things happen. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Wait, there's more. I had people ask in comments what book I use for these repairs. Well, that's what it is. It's a Robert Bentley manual. Covers, well, you can read it. Anyway, covers all that stuff. I'm not even sure if they're available anymore. Print. I've had this one a long time. Likely you can find them on eBay. I've had luck finding other manuals on there. Thanks for watching.